What's up, cool kids? So, last weekend, I asked you guys to ask me some questions, and you totally came through for me, so I really appreciate it. So, let's answer some questions here. Let's see what the first one is. We got Raymond with, what made you pick classic 16-bit games over modern games? Basically, it was just easier, much easier. But I did recently get a capture card, so you'll see more recent games. Still, like, not the most brand new because at this time I don't have any of the newer consoles, but I got a 360, so that should be good. Alright, we have from Breeze. How'd you meet the crew? Aaron, Jeff, Mike, and Noah. How long did it take for you to become besties? I've never actually met them because they live in California, but I've known Noah for a long time, since like 2003, I think, is whenever we first started doing the scoop, the Inside Scoop back then, and it was only audio. But I think that I just read wrestling websites, and so then I wanted to write a column for, I don't know, I was doing it for several different websites. Really enjoyed just writing columns back then, and Noah had been doing the Inside Scoop, and if you go back and listen, it's on his Noah Mania fan page on Facebook. He basically had two co-hosts before me, and they both bailed on him for whatever reason, so I was the third co-host. He has the first episode with me up on the Noah Mania page, so it's worth a listen, if only to hear what, I don't know, we sound like babies, basically. As for Mike and Jeff, like, Mike's cool, we do the scoop now, but don't really know him. Let me put that back. I don't know him personally. Jeff, I really have had almost no interaction with, and Aaron, the most interaction I've had with him has been on the scoop as well. So I wouldn't say we're besties, but I do consider Noah a good friend of mine. Okay, Spike says, what kind of music do you listen to? Who's your favorite band or artist? Keep up the great work, love the videos, thanks for the content. Well, thank you for watching it, first of all. I listen to just, like, everything. If I had to narrow it down, I'd say my favorite genre is probably 90s alternative. It's just what I grew up with. I love it. So some of my favorite bands from that era are going to be Foo Fighters, Weezer, System of a Down. I love System of a Down, Slipknot. I mean, those aren't all alternative bands, but those are just bands that I grew up listening to and really enjoy. As far as more rap right now, I'm really into Childish Gambino. I think that dude's awesome, and a good comedian as well. Rob says, do you have any other hobbies than wrestling, gaming, and whiskey? No, I don't. Nope, that's it. April says, what do you look for in a woman? Well, to me, the most important thing about a woman is her heart, and as long as that's beating, then she's my type. Okay. Best in the World says, just want to say I really enjoy your channel. So, some of the most entertaining live streams I've ever seen. Thank you, ma'am. As for questions, what's your favorite match of all time? Also, what's your favorite stipulation? Thanks, and keep up the good work. I would probably say my favorite match, I really like Brett versus Owen at WrestleMania 10. I'm entertained every time I watch that, so I'll go with that. And as for stipulation, I don't know. Ladder match? Sounds good. Definitely not championship scramble. Alright, next we have Jose Montez with, you into any other sports than wrestling and fave team? The only other sport that I really keep up with at all is football, American football. I'm a Steelers fan, so take that for what you will. I'll watch like basketball, hockey, baseball. I watch it, but it's not my favorite, so I'm really not that invested. Like, I don't tune in every game. So, they're entertaining sports, nothing to take away from them, but I don't watch soccer though. Okay, Israel says, what was your first video game you ever played? I had a brother and sister that were both well older than me, so in my memory as a very young child, we already had video games like the Atari 2600 and the Nintendo. I remember the Nintendo being awesome. The original NES was sweet. And then I know that we had Mario, but the one that sticks out in my mind as a kid playing is Metroid. My brother and sister would play it all the time. Like, for some reason, one of them could beat like the two mini bosses or the two earlier bosses, and then the other one could beat Mother Brain. I couldn't tell you which is which, but I remember watching that. And then of course, you know, I was trying to play it and I sucked because I was too young to remember all the mazes and stuff in that game, but played it a lot. Yeah, fun game. Okay, ATM says, how did you start watching wrestling? Well, basically I was in like 8th grade. And a couple of my friends liked wrestling. I guess they had liked it since the early 90s or maybe even the 80s. But it was basically, I was like 14 when it was a perfect time to start watching wrestling because it was like the Attitude Era. So you had the completely hot girls. You had, everything was just so over the top. Everybody was badass. I mean, I don't know, but... You know, I turned that on and I was basically immediately hooked. I would flip back between Raw and Nitro. If I wanted to record them both, like on VHS tapes, I used to record like every Raw. And if I wanted to record both, then I would just tape Raw as it was live. And then like at 1 in the morning, Nitro would replay. So I would just set my VCR to tape that and then I'd have the entire show. But yeah, it was just 8th grade. My friends watched it. I started watching it and loved it. Rest is history. Okay, Alex Thomas says, where do you live in America and who is/was your favorite wrestler? I live in Missouri, and currently I'd probably either go with Jericho or Xavier Woods. I really like both of them. Over all-time favorite wrestlers, got to be Shawn Michaels, and whenever I first started watching, I really liked Bret Hart. It probably had a lot to do with the Wrestling with Shadows documentary. That was like the first wrestling-related documentary thing that I had ever seen. I think I saw that even before I saw Beyond the Mat. So it was just awesome. It showed Bret in a very sympathetic light. I didn't really know the history of the business or anything. All I knew is it looked like this poor dude who was a great technical wrestler got screwed. So yeah, originally Bret, all-time HBK, and you know, on the current roster now, I would say Jericho or Xavier Woods. I also went through periods of time when my favorite active superstars was Christian, and then Daniel Bryan. Yeah. What we got next? The Albert Pub says, 3 questions. First, have you ever been to the UK? You're from Liverpool. No, I have never been to the UK. I would love to go though. Second question, have you ever heard of the EverDrive 64? I have just got my N64. Amazing. I don't know what EverDrive is. You should tell me sometime. Third question, will you make an appearance at Noah's 30th? Probably not. I'm not going to have enough money to go out to Vegas for that, so I'd love to. I think it would be a ton of fun. I'm not rich. It'd be sweet if I was rich. Jesus says, what's your favorite RPG of all time? I'm going to have to go with Radiata Stories. I know it's not a very popular game. Like, I can't recall ever being like, hey, you heard of Radiata Stories? And the person being like, yes. Other than my friend that I also knew played it whenever it first came out. It was for PlayStation 2. It was, I believe, from Square and Tri-Ace, if my memory serves me correctly. It could be wrong. But it's just a really fun RPG, good storyline. In the middle, you kind of have to make a huge choice that you can't come back from. I don't know. It's really awesome. My favorite RPG, Radiata Stories. Jesus again, have you ever met a wrestler in real life, and if so, how's the experience? Yes, I have, not many, but here in this picture is me with, and I told you I used to have a big fro, Jeff Hardy and James Storm. This was in Vegas, and I didn't go for this meet and greet. We just happened to be, me and my ex-girlfriend happened to be walking around, one of the casinos, and there's this big open area, and it said that these TNA stars were going to be here later, and there's going to be a big barbecue. So the barbecue happens, and that is whenever I have other pictures with Jeff and James Storm, but there was like, people weren't there to see the wrestlers. They were there because it's this big barbecue, and it was like, the barbecue was like a competition. As you can see, they're in aprons because they just got done cooking. So like, I was able to just sit here and watch Jeff Hardy grill a burger. And I was never a huge Jeff Hardy fan. He was never like my favorite wrestler, but I was marking out extremely hard whenever I was like 5 feet away from this dude. And so they lost the competition for the barbecue because the people that won cheated. They put an egg on a burger. That's cheating. Obviously, it's going to be delicious, but that's not really the burger. Anyway, I digress. And so then they came inside and they had an actual meet and greet. Like, I met them outside. I shook their hand and got a couple pictures and stuff, and basically just hovered around them like a creepy fanboy. And then we went inside and got in line, and this is whenever we got the actual pictures like this here. And also, boom, HBK. This was during the weekend of WrestleMania 22. He was at Borders. His book, you can see his book is right there. It had just come out. It was pretty new anyway. And so he was doing a signing at the Borders. 3-story Borders. I've never seen anything like that before, but in Chicago, I live in Missouri. But it was awesome. We had to get there extremely early and wait a long time. I think I was like 13th in line. That's how early we got there. Because it not only went down all 3 stories, but outside the store and around the block. But it was WrestleMania weekend, so obviously wrestling fans were there. But it was worth it. It was awesome. And if you see, there's the WWE logo there because this footage of me made it onto the bonus features for the WrestleMania 22 DVD, and it is also somewhere on the History of WrestleMania DVD, the one that has Vince on the cover, I think, is on there. So that's cool. I'm down with it. Whenever I was watching, because I went to WrestleMania 22, so I was like, okay, when it comes out, got to get the DVD. And I remember, probably watch the event again and then put in the bonus disc or like the extras or whatever, and you don't expect to see yourself, and it's only a split second. Like, that screen cap is from a split second because they're just going through people, fans meeting and whatever. But I saw it pop up and totally marked out for myself. Yeah, so not a lot of wrestlers have I met, but those guys. So that's it for this one. I'll probably do another one again. If you guys want to ask some more questions down in the comments, that's fine, and give me a couple of weeks and I'll answer them. So I hope this was good, and I'll see y'all next time, somewhere. Scoop, Raw's EBar, Gaming with EBar, whatever. It'll be one of those things. Peace.